I'm Dr. Mel, and this is Dr. Mel's message. Today I have a phone interview with a very special man. His name is Harold Cohn, and he wrote the book Crazy Old Man. But before we get into the phone interview, I want to show you the book trailer.
Harold Cohn's spellbinding Crazy Old Man, an anthology, takes the reader on a whistle-stop tour of the work of one of the hidden gems of the literary world. Whether you fall in love with his poetry, lose yourself in his nonfiction, or put your mind to the test against his selection of essays, you'll be left unable to put it down from the first page to the last. Each piece brings his unique approach to the written word to a whole new audience, allowing you to learn to love one of America's most creative authors. Buy your copy at Amazon.com and www.haroldcohn.com today and immerse yourself in the work of an author who is just waiting to be discovered.
Harold, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Well, hi. How are you been, sir?
I'm doing fine.
Awesome. Now, I want all of my listeners here to get to really know you because you have some good stories to tell. First of all, Harold has a book called Crazy Old Man, an anthology. Now, why would you want to be interested in reading something by a crazy old man? Well, let me tell you, this stuff has so much in it. It's incredible. So first of all, Harold, this isn't your first book, The Crazy Old Man. Is that correct?
Can I tell you about my education?
I would love to have learn about you. Yes.
Okay. I quit high school in the 11th grade.
And what year was that? Can I ask?
Oh my God, that was 1960.
Wow. Okay.
I'm dating myself.
Yeah. Okay.
So I quit high school. I went in the Navy. And I spoke Philadelphia language. And Philadelphia language is an F-bomb and whatever else you want to say. And everybody in the Navy understood me.
Okay.
And because I didn't have a high school education, I'm a smart man, but I was a dumb man in the Navy because I didn't have a high school education.
So they viewed you because you weren't, quote, officially educated. What were you doing in the Navy at this point?
I was a shipfitter.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is the other guys had the high school diploma.
Okay.
And I didn't have it, so I took a test, GED test, and I got a diploma. Well, I didn't get a diploma. I didn't think I had a diploma. But long story short, I got out of the Navy and went back to get my high school diploma. And believe it or not, I had to take English as a second language.
Wow. What was your first language?
So I went to college and I had to take remedial English.
Okay.
Then I had to take my regular English, and then I started taking writing courses, all kinds of writing courses. And I'll just mention two of them. I took one for business writing.
Okay.
And I'm there in the class, and we had to write a rejection letter to somebody. So it's about class goes out at 10 o'clock at night. And I was the last one to read my letter. And the students had 15 minutes to drag me through hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I got done. And Mr. Vove, the only instructor I ever knew his name was Mr. Vove, told the students after they ripped me for 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, he told them, I would buy anything at any time from Mr. Cohn.
Oh.
So I'm going to give you the last line of what I said. And if somebody's writing a business letter, they can use this.
All right.
For a close. Thank you for the time you have taken to review this letter. See, that works fine.
Okay.
No matter what else you told them, they're happy. You thank them for reviewing the letter.
Whether it was
And
good, bad, or indifferent.
And everybody else can use it now. It don't matter. I'm old. They can have it. And the second...
Yeah, what was the second
thing,
one? Yeah.
Okay, I worked in the park department. And I'm Vietnam vet, combat vet, and I was a park ranger, and we did maintenance. We cleaned toilets and picked trash and everything else. And I'm from Philadelphia, and when you went to college, you got out of college, you wore a tie, and you sure didn't clean toilets. But all these people that went into college just to escape Vietnam went to college. And I'm looking at them, and what are you doing here? What do you do being here cleaning the toilet with me, you know? I mean, and picking trash. You got a 4-year degree. What are you here for, you know? I don't understand it. So then they came out and they had this interpretive program thing. And I'm going to tell you, it was probably 30, 35. And I can't memorize things. I can't memorize nothing. And that was all memorized and repeat. It was the same like the fake news nowadays. You repeated the same thing you were told. I couldn't do it. So I tried to watch the birds. The birds flew too fast. Flowers were too small. I couldn't make out what they were doing. So this lady wrote an Almani Park history. She passed away, a ranger. And it was just a few notes and a few pictures. So here comes the dummy, Harold. And he says, I can write this thing in 1 month.
Oh.
So I wrote the Almani Park history, and it took me 13 months to write 13 pages.
Oh, no.
And it was good. It was good. I learned how to research. I went down to the library and looked at that microfiche and can't make out the handwriting on it and stuff and everything to learn how to research how to write an essay.
Wow.
And it's good. And it's a good essay. So time passed, and we got this little 8 by 16 foot building out at the park, pump house, abandoned pump house. Small. And I got a Mexican guy as a supervisor. They love art. And he talked to me, and he said to me, do you want to make a museum out of this thing? I said, yeah. I said, let me see if I can find a muralist. I want paintings. I want it all to be murals. So by golly, I found a muralist, muralist, Mona Mills, and the park department wouldn't give me no money. We did everything to get money. I went and called up this book company. Oh, what is their name? Oh, God, I can't give them a plug. But they said they'd donate books for me.
Okay.
They wouldn't give me money, wouldn't give me a donation, but they gave me books. They said, Mr. Cohn, you can have the books for your bookstore. Guess what? I didn't have a bookstore.
Oh, no.
So, you know, we're a picnic park, and we have people coming through, and they pay their fee to get in to go picnicking on the weekends. So I established my bookstore. You know what my bookstore was?
No. What?
2 55-gallon trash cans turned upside down with a sheet of plywood on it.
That was your bookstore.
We sold $500-600 worth of books.
Wow.
Right there at the gate, and fundraising. I learned fundraising. I wrote letters to everybody. And I got, just like you got when you publish a book, you get a lot of rejections when you go to have an article published. You get a lot of rejection slips.
Yeah.
We still made money. We sold other stuff there too. I don't know what, it was like a swap meet.
Swap meet.
Whatever anything would donate, we'd do it. But the museum turned out it was all murals. It based on the El Monte Park history, and it was beautiful.
Wow.
And and we it's closed now. I've been retired for 10 years. It's closed, but it was beautiful. So now, what else you want to talk about?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know about you said something about a first book when I would just first introduced you, when I was getting to know you just a little bit better, about a writer's workshop. What was that about?
Writer's workshop. Let me tell you what happened. I went and took this poetry class. And I go in the first night, and it was only about an hour, and they said, your assignment is to write a poem about anything you want. So I go home, and I had LA Times headlines from the 30s and 40s. It's a book. And you know what they had in there? Smog.
Smut?
You listen, I wrote a poem about smog. So I'd taken other English classes and stuff, and I knew about thesaurus. So I looked up yellow-brown for smog, and I came up with the word tawny, which is a yellow-brown. It looks like a mountain lion. Mountain lion's tawny. It's a yellow-brown.
Right.
So I get to reading this, and this is the first time I've never been criticized about what I wrote. So I wrote the smog was tawny. And I'm just this little yellow man. I just remember his skin was yellow, and he's old, and you can't do that. The smog is yellow. It's not tawny. I said, I'm going there, what's this nut talking about, And he ripped me for 10 minutes. So I went, and the class got over. I walked out. Next day I went down, got a refund to cancel the class. I don't want this. So I canceled the class.
Oh, no.
So years later, okay, I'm under the VA on getting paid for going to school. I want you to understand. So every day, every month, I opened my VA check. I got my check. And then in bright pink, they had a thing that says you got to keep your grades up. I'm 4.0. How can I keep my grades up? Just give me my check. I'm got 4.0. No, you gotta keep your grades up. So when writing in creative writing classes, or all the writing classes off beside your regular English, you have 3 assignments during the semester. And if you get turned into 3 assignments, that don't matter if it makes sense or don't make sense, your grammar's bad or anything else, you get your A. So I'm in an articles writing class, and I got stuck. I couldn't think of what to write, and I said, something, I'm going to write something about what happened to me in that poetry class. And that's why I wrote How to Survive a Writer's Workshop. And it is well written. It's simple to understand. And, memory's getting short here. Okay, I read it. And I was walking out the class door, and the instructor stopped stopped me. He said, Mr. Cohn. I said, yeah, what do you want? Can I use this for future students? So I'm telling you, it's good.
Oh, I love that. Now, before I call you.
And that's the thing is that if you have something that's good, you got to pass it on.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, you pass it on. You pass it on. Why do I want to keep this from happening? I want students to write. I write on Quora, and they asked me. Here's a guy that couldn't even speak English, and he's telling people how to write. And you know what's the main thing I tell my people that are asking writing questions?
What?
You're not going to get it on the first draft.
Oh, no, never.
Never on the first draft.
I agree with that.
You know what else I tell them to do?
What?
When you're writing, reviewing what you wrote, read it aloud.
Yeah, that's a good advice.
You can hear what the person's reading sounds like to them.
I agree.
And you pick up all your mistakes.
I agree.
But so it's something I do.
Well, you know, you start off with interesting. It gives me a really good idea about who you are and the type of man you are. And without just calling you a crazy old man, but I think I can, because that's the name of your book, Crazy Old Man, an anthology, right?
Well, yeah, it's an anthology. And do you know what a haiku is?
I do know what a haiku is. It's a little bitty short poem.
Yeah, it's 575.
Right.
The poem, five
words.
No, 5 words. 5.
First line is 5 words. The second line is 7, and the fifth line.
Yeah, I forgot what it is now. It's 575.
That's it.
And you write the first thing, and then you write the second thing. Then you got to have a surprise at the end.
Right.
And I love haiku, but that's in my book too.
All right. Well, in the book, like I said, we know the title of it. Your first poem is called My Dream. All right. What's that about?
Reading. I don't have my book here. I can't think of it. Writing a ream. I thought you said a dream.
No, my dream.
Don't mind me.
That's why the book's called The Crazy Old Man, right? You know, we need to, let me.
Writing a ream. My dream is to write a ream. I've written tons of reams, but that's just saying.
But was that the haiku? Wait, Mr. Cohn, that was the haiku?
No, the haiku would be, God, I don't have my books with me. Okay. Okay, I got one for you. I'm just going from memory.
Okay, let's have it.
Mighty sturdy oak, winding through your limbs untamed, wind sings a sweet song. Otherwise, you got this big mighty oak tree, and the wind blows through there, and the oak can't stop it. It's big and mighty, but it can't stop the wind. The wind blows through its limbs, and it makes noise. It sings a sweet song.
Well, as I look through your book, there's so much in it, from poems to articles. And when I say articles, they're all over the place. Some of them are short stories. Some of them are more historical. And another one is even a one-act play. I have several that I'm really curious about, Mr. Cohn, that I want to know about. Can you talk to me a little bit about the short story called DUI?
DUI, okay. I was taking a creative writing class. Oh, this is interesting. You're talking about things that are fun.
Well, good.
I went, and the instructor was a young lady. She was pregnant. And she sat on the top of the desk. And I think her name was Ann. I don't know her last name, but she was fun. So she introduced me to writing. She had something written in the second person.
Okay.
So DUI, I wrote in the second person, which is you.
Right.
And you is very offensive to people. And I just want to make this character really not be a DUI again, you know?
Right.
You're sitting there, I got him squirming. He's worried about what he's going to tell his wife. And then all of a sudden his bladder's ready to burst. And he's squirming some more. And then his bladder bursts and he wets his pants.
Oh,
and
no.
then he says, never again. So, just today I was just looking at it again. I sent it to somebody else, but so I converted it into a play.
Wow. Did it ever get produced?
I turned it to the California Highway Patrol to see if they could use it at Christmas time, and you know, it's bureaucracy, it's government, didn't get through. So now I got Mountain Empire Historical Society. They got they're out in the outback there in San Diego, Campo, which is nothing town. And they got an old theater that they inherited. And I sent them a copy. I'm sending them a copy of it to see if they can get somebody to use the old theater and have a play. But the play would be fun. I have who is that? Not moderator. I don't have to, can't draw the word now.
MC, narrator. An MC, a narrator.
Narrator.
All right, I'm trying to help you out here.
Yeah, okay. The narrator in the play is standing off stage, and he's talking to you. He's using you to him all the time.
That's kind of like what Cabaret did.
And he's talking to him, and the guy on stage pantomimes everything he says.
Okay.
And he acts there, and he's going through everything, and then I had the radio squawking at him, and all kinds of things, you know, just to make you feel like you were in that back of the cop car.
Wow.
And it was made to be a deterrent.
Well, where? Okay, let me ask you this.
But funny.
All right.
You know, but funny.
But funny, I get it. But this is, I'm trying to let my readers understand that the variety of your book called Crazy Old Man, and because there's so much in there. We just heard about, your dream, and we heard about the DUI. We've heard about, all sorts of stuff. But I really want to hear right now what is called the Golden Onion. And it's about the 49ers Gold Rush, right?
The Golden Onion is the first thing I got paid. I got paid $15 for it.
All right.
And the Golden Onion, I wrote that. We had the Park Beat paper, which was just an in-house newspaper for us. And I wrote that for the Park Beat. I don't know how I got on the Golden Onion. Oh, yeah, now I remember.
All right.
The Golden Onion I was researching history, and I discovered that the first gold in California was not Sutter's Mill.
Okay. What was it?
Rancho something or another. I'm just going flying by the seat of my pants here. Rancho something or another. This here Caballero, which is a Mexican cowboy. He's sitting there eating his lunch, and he pulled an wild onion out of the ground, and it had gold on it. And that's the golden onion. That's where the golden onion come from. But let me talk to you about onions now. You don't mind me going off track, do you?
No. You know what? This is
Okay,
very
'cause I had
interesting.
adventures in
And you know what?
So,
I can hear a lot of my listeners. Literally, I can hear.
So, onions.
Okay.
I wrote a poem about onions. Onions yellow and brown. That's all you need to know. Onions yellow and brown. So I'm on the editorial board for the class magazine or something they have at the end of the year. Yearbook, I guess, whatever.
Yeah, that's the yearbook.
And in college.
Yeah.
So I submitted onions, and it goes, onions yellow and brown, make me brown. Yeah, I'm getting it now. So I'm on there, and I submitted it.
And what was the effect of it?
Like you get in the magazine. So this Mexican guy reads this, and he's going nuts because I called the onions yellow and brown. I said brown, what's that got to do with Mexicans? It ain't got nothing to do with Mexicans. But he was offended, and he sit there and ripped us. I'm sitting there wanting to scream at him. Shut up, stop, you're ruining my poem. And I went through that for 15 minutes as he raved about this thing saying onions were yellow and brown. Oh my God, it was embarrassing. But I was smart, I kept my mouth shut. And if you hadn't mentioned onions, golden onion, I wouldn't even thought about that.
Well, I'm sorry, I do my research.
Part of being a writer.
Yeah.
Is people get offended. I said onions were yellow and brown. They are yellow and brown. But no, this guy went nuts. Oh my God. Shoot. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Now, another one really sparked my interest in your book because I'm part Native American, and you happen to have something in there called the Piedras Grande Shepherd photograph or pictograph. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Okay.
And is this real or fiction, this part?
This is Native American rock art.
Okay.
Okay. So years ago, I'm still under pressure with this interpreter to do things.
Okay.
These are the guys who could repeat what they read and repeat what they were told, and I couldn't. So it was Diana. Laurel and Diana Lindsay. Oh God, I can't get her. And that's the one I got the books from. I can't even think of their place.
It's all right. You're a crazy old man at 78. You're doing good.
Give them a plug. It's Sunbelt Books for anything about camping and stuff like that, and nature and stuff like that. Sunbelt Books.
All right.
So I went and found this 2-day course for was the Indians of the desert and pioneers of the desert.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had a Granada, 6062 Granada, Ford, one-wheel drive, right?
Oh man, most people won't even know what that is, but go ahead.
You only got one wheel pushing.
Okay. What the best thing out there, in other words?
Well, so it's going to be out in the desert.
All right.
Everybody else got four-wheel drive. And the Lindsay's take us out, and everybody else is doing fine. I got this one-wheel drive, and I'm sliding and slipping and kicking up dirt. And we finally made it out to where we were going, which was, God, I can't think of the name of the place now. Whatever, we went out in the desert. We parked, and we go in this small ravine, and we walk down there about a half mile, and then it goes into a big valley. So we go on down. First, we go to this washout where the mountain the place used to have water in it. And then must have had a bad flood or something. It broke loose and washed out the whole thing down there. So they bring us back and got this big rock, about 20 feet across, maybe 10, 15 feet tall.
Wow.
Okay, and it got pictographs, which means that the Native Americans painted on the rock.
Right.
Okay, this here was a place, I can't, it's there. And so Diana Lindsay's talking, and she's telling us about it. And the first thing she tells us is spiritual. Well, I'm not no dummy. I know what I don't know. You say it's spiritual, I'll take the words on it.
All right.
And I took her word on it. That thing was spiritual. And then she said the peck marks in the rock where they stabbed it with a stick or something, made little indentations on the mark. And she says it's fertility.
Oh, wow.
You know what I said?
Uh-oh.
I said it's fertility.
Did you know it by looking at it, or you just accepted her word?
And I'm looking at this big rock. I'm looking at the big rock.
Okay.
Then the next thing that comes out, somebody in the back hollers out, it's graffiti.
It's graffiti.
So here's the dummy now. Here's when you really may be a dummy.
All right.
And I'm looking at this rock, and I'm staring at it, and all of a sudden, it's like a veil comes down. There's nobody there. There's Harold and the rock.
Oh, Lord.
And I am in a deep trance looking at this rock.
Wow.
And you know what I said?
I have no idea, but I want to know.
The damn thing's a map.
A map? How'd you get a map out of that? Wait, how do we go from graffiti and fertility to a map?
It had on the, okay, I'm just trying to describe this on the phone, but you had three suns together, one going from left to right. You had three suns.
All right.
And I knew it took you 3 days to go somewhere. So when I said that, the damn thing's a map, guess what they did?
What? I
I
can't
had 30
wait.
people laughing at me. And they laughed at me for the next 3 hours.
Oh, no.
So I come back the next day. We're pioneers of the desert. And they laughed at me for another 8 hours.
Oh, no.
So I said, I'm never going to talk about this rock again. I was so embarrassed, tired of being laughed at.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing too right now,
And
but
besides, having to go out with a one-wheel drive and sliding all over the desert to get to the place.
oh, no. Eh.
5
Woo.
to 10 years pass.
Well, I cannot wait for people to actually get a hold of this book
Okay, now,
so they can go to page 38, right? What we're talking about is on, wait, listen, Mr. Cohn, what we're talking about is on page 38 of your book, right?
I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay. Let me have it.
That is a petroglyph. That's where they scratched on the rock.
Oh, okay.
But it's rock art.
All right.
I'll get you there to that, and then I'll get back to where you're at.
Woo! I'm there. Let's go.
I started writing. I got in this articles writing class. Like I said, with the VA, I had my third article to write.
Right.
And I didn't have a thought what to do. And I said, you know something? I'm going to write about that rock out in the desert.
Even though everybody was laughing at you, you're going to write about it.
Yeah, well, this is 3, maybe 5, 10 years later.
Oh, okay. It wasn't immediate.
But I'm going to write about it anyhow.
Okay.
So I wrote the article, which is a stone spoke.
All right.
Okay? And in the writing class, everybody gets a photocopy of what you're reading. They read along with you.
Right.
And I read it. And this little old lady jumps up. You can't do that!
What? Why'd she say that?
Yeah, seriously.
Why'd she say that?
Do that? And you know what I told her in real calm voice?
Uh-oh. What?
Ma'am, I just did.
I just did. No other excuse. You know what, Mr. Cohn, that is brilliant advice actually for writers. You know, just do it. Just write.
To this rock originally, what it takes you from, before it washed out, the spot washed out where the Box Canyon was, washed out and went down, all the water went out of the place. That's where you came in.
All right.
That's where if you were a traveler, you come in there. And this rock, okay, I got to digress a little bit again. You don't mind, do you?
Honey, you're a very interesting man. I could hear.
Okay, let me tell you something. I worked at El Monte Park. This was a Flint Springs.
Well, let me tell you, I have late night listeners and I have daytime listeners. I can see my late night listeners like, oh, keep going, keep going. So no, you're doing good. Remember again, I am talking to Harold. Hold on, Harold. Wait, hold on, Harold. Hold on. Remember, listeners, I am. Wait, Harold. Harold. Wait, just a minute. Listeners, just as a reminder, I am speaking with in a one-to-one chat with author Harold Cohn. He is the author of Crazy Old Man. He is fascinating, and we have stories upon stories, and we're about to hear another one. All right, Mr. Cohn, I'm ready.
Okay, so at Flint Springs, it was a campsite. We had oak trees, and you had acorns. And the Indians had grinding holes, a group of grinding holes, probably about 10, 15 grinding holes in this rock where they pounded.
Yeah.
The acorns and made them into flour.
All right.
Okay, then about, the length of a football field from it, they had this single grinding hole.
All right.
And I looked at that and I said, why is that single grinding hole here? And this repeated over and over again, so I know it's true. And the single grinding hole, all the women were up the big rock grinding acorns. So you were
acorns? Wait, acorns?
They peel the acorn and they take the nut out of it and they pound it with a rock and they make flour out of it.
Wow. Okay.
So the big rock was for the women. And if you were a traveler, you were welcome to eat there, but you had that single rock by yourself. So you were a male, you didn't get in with the women.
Wow.
No, I'm telling you, that's what it's for.
So, but.
And so, guess originally was coming up out of the desert. You come up to the big rock, and what it got is got a single grinding hole.
All right.
So you get to the single grinding hole, and then the shaman's going to tell you, he's going to point, it's a whiteboard now. It used to be a blackboard. You point to the blackboard. On the blackboard, you put on what you're going to write, and they point to it. They still point with the pointers now on the whiteboard. And he'd tell them how to get to San Diego. So it gives you a detailed map. You go up, you go this way, you go that way, and then you go down the San Diego River, and you're going 90 miles, and you get down to the beach. They told you how to get there. So now let me tell you more about it.
Well.
So the Spanish came. Okay?
Yep.
And they come up, and they say to the shaman there, what do you got here? And he shakes his head no. Like you don't understand. So now the first thing they asked him, what was it? Okay. Is it about fertility?
Oh, we're back to that now. We've gone full circle.
The priest, what is it? Oh, God.
No, I think you just answered a lot of questions here, because when you first saw the stone, you thought one thing, and then they said fertility. And in my mind, I'm like, how does this even relate? So now we actually made it to this point.
Well, now I'm getting to this point. Now I'm going to tell you about fertility and spiritual.
All right, and we're still on one of his parts of his book called the Piedras Grande Shepherd Pictograph. So if you're just tuning in, I'm speaking with Harold Cohn and his book, Crazy Old Man. And we're actually digesting and dissecting his book in parts. And we're on the part called the Piedras Grande Shepherd Photograph. All right, Mr. Cohn.
Okay, so somebody like Father Sarah, which came up and did all the missions at North, he got a mission in San Diego, and I got him going all the way up to San Francisco. So this is guys traveling, and the Mexicans are coming in there, and they want to know what it's about. So the priest is the intelligent one of all the people there. He got the knowledge. And you know what the priest says?
No. What?
This is spiritual.
Oh, we're back to that now. Wow.
And you know what the shaman does? He shakes his head, yes. Is it fertility? Yes.
All right. So we went full circle with this.
The padre, that's what it is, the padre. The padre's happy. Oh, God, it's spiritual, and it has to do with sex. Oh, my God, I'm in hog heaven.
Wow.
No, the Indians didn't tell him, you can go here and you go to the Pacific Ocean.
Wow. And this is all because...
So you know what they wound up doing?
No.
They wound up going up in the... San Bernardino, and over and taking the ocean over to L.A. That's why they got to L.A. first.
Wow.
They didn't tell them how to get to San Diego.
All right. Well, that's it.
The Indians are, what it is...
All right.
I'm not contradicting everything that goes on, but the Indians were smart.
Oh, yeah, they were. That's my ancestry now.
And they dealt with basic knowledge. They had one, I don't know, Petrus Grandy. I think that might be about childbirth. I don't know what it is now.
No problem. Now, look, I want to move on, and we're going to jump ship here for a second. But there's one more part of your book that I identified with that I really want to hear where you came up with it, why you wrote it, what was the inspiration, what is it about, and what can we learn? And I know that's a lot of questions, but I have faith in you, Mr. Cohn. And let me tell you, and it's actually on page 84 if you're following along with the book right now. Again, I'm speaking with Harold Cohn, and he wrote the book Crazy Old Man, and we're talking about it, and we've gone in depth. But right now, I want to talk about the poem on page 64 called My Wife.
My wife?
Yeah. And I think I spoke to her, didn't I? Wait, didn't I speak to her before you got on the phone? So I think I met your wife kind of, sort of, right?
Everybody, listen, I'm selling books, and, I didn't write it to put it in the book. I wrote it for my wife.
Oh.
And it's politically it's not great, but just emotionally, it's a great poem.
Now you look, you're talking
I
to.
do love my wife.
Okay.
She's getting a little old, a little slow up top and the brain there, but that's fine. We get along fine, and there's something, who was telling me they're going to write a poem about their wife? Somebody or his girlfriend or something. No, my son, I guess. No, wow. It's my son's girlfriend. You get older, everything gets confused to who you're talking about. She wanted to write a poem about my son.
Okay.
You know what I told her?
What?
Go for it. But I told her, read it aloud, the same as I repeated before. Read it aloud so you can hear how it sounds. And she said, boom, the light came on in the attic, She could understand what I'm saying. You got to listen to what you write.
All right. Yeah, that's great advice, actually.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Well, let's talk about the poem itself, My Wife. Do you have it handy, or maybe you could read it for us?
Hang on a second. I'll get my book.
I would love that. I would love to hear you read it. Again, we're listening to Harold Cohn, Crazy Old Man, brought to you by Strat Advertising. This book is available on Amazon, and it is incredible. Not only does it have poems, but it has articles that jump from the 1960s to Vietnam War to just a one-act play to another historical article. And then we jump over with Native Americans, and we're looking at pictographs and what he felt about it. And then, as what we're waiting on, as he gets it, his wife. Now, being a wife, and I've been married 37 years, it takes a lot to keep a wife happy. So I can't wait to see what he says. Mr. Cohn, you're back with us?
Yeah, I'm back with you.
All right, awesome. That was perfect timing. All right, so let's have it. I want to hear you read, but let me introduce you first, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. This is it, the moment we have been waiting for. This is Mr. Harold Cohn reading a poem called My Wife on page 64.
Okay. Now I gotta get it open. Get this down. Oh my God. It's been a long time.
I can't wait to hear you read it, honestly.
I'm here.
I know. And I can cut the blank page things out, so don't worry about that.
It's fine.
You're a delight.
My wife. Blue-eyed, freckled, special. I love the girl. I love my wife. I love. The little old lady in white lace. my wife. Blue-eyed, freckled, special. Thank you. I appreciate that. Are you still there?
I am. I just had tears in my eyes. I'm sorry. Listening, no, happy tears. Listening to you read that about your wife, knowing that you're 78 years old, the life you have led from being to the Navy, to going to Vietnam War, to working in the parks, to not having an education, to taking classes. I mean, you know what, Mr. Cohn, you're going to leave a legacy for your family.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I am honored that you came on. Actually, I think Strat Advertising, they are remarkable to help authors. I mean, you got to admit that. But I think Strat Advertising to introducing me to you, because you are phenomenal. And your book comes from the heart, it comes from the soul. And so you know what? I feel connected to you after just this little bit. And I just want to thank you so much. You were phenomenal.
I want to thank you for interviewing me.
No. Hey, I'm just little Dr. Mel with Dr. Mel's message. You know, I might have 3 million followers, but now that you've talked to me, I'm just a down home girl and I respect my elders. How's that?
That's fine. You don't have to worry about that. I just tell that the young man there at the spa just to get him upset.
That's phenomenal. Again, Mr. Cohn, I have enjoyed my conversation with you. I feel like I know you. You have presented a book that I think America, well, actually the world needs right now, because we don't need a book that we have to really just get in and read from start to finish. We need to be able to jump from one story to the other. Or do we want love? Do we want history? Do we want this? And your book provides that for us. So thank you. I mean, you're 78 years old. You know, give us all a break. If he can do it at 78 during a pandemic, just think what you can do. Again, I am Dr. Mel, and this is Dr. Mel's message, and I have been visiting with Harold Cohn. All right.